What's going on, everybody? It's the Ore Hunter, and we're back with some more Reventuli Coast content. And you may ask, Hunter, aren't you tired of Reventuli Coast? And well, I'd probably answer pretty honestly, yeah, I'm kind of tired of it. We've been here for the past 6 months straight, just grinding our little hearts out for the Great One Whitetail, and we finally got him in the Trophy Lodge. That being said, that has rekindled my joy for Great One grinding, and obviously the next one on the list is going to be the Great One Moose. Reventuli Coast is an excellent moose map. I know the majority of people are actually grinding on Medved. I want to be a little bit different and get the Great One here on Reventuli. We've already got the vast majority of our zones discovered, and luckily most of my zones, as you can see, are exactly the same as my whitetail zones. There's been some minor adjustments here or there, but for the most part there's little effort on my part to have to reset tents and tripods and whatnot. The only thing that's going to be really different is the time. With all that aside, this video isn't going to be anything in particularly special. It's just going to be me just kind of running through what I would typically run through. Hopefully we get something good. If not, maybe it'll give somebody out there some inspiration for the Great One grind, or maybe some ideas on how they should set up for theirs. As with any Great One grind, it's really important that you go through and find all of your need zones for whatever species you're grinding for. Now, when it comes to grinding, this also includes if you're diamond grinding as well. This doesn't necessarily translate to only Great Ones. I digress. It's important to find all your need zones because some of you may have noticed that if you've shot a lot of animals in one spot, you may have noticed they don't come back, and you think, well, I didn't erase the need zones, why aren't they coming back? And it's because you actually haven't discovered all your need zones, and so they're simply respawning elsewhere. In order to prevent this, you need to actually discover your need zones. I don't know why it works that way, it just does, because intrinsically those zones are there anyway, but the fact of actually having a need zone physically on your map, for whatever reason, will lock those animals to that need zone. So it's really important if you want to have an efficient grind. That being said, if you don't want to have an efficient grind, you want to just hunt the entire map, go for it. But for those of you that are setting up tents and tripods and really getting after it, that's what you need to do. Now, I'm still very new to the Moose Great One grind, so I'm still trying to hammer out exactly my most efficient routes and locations. Luckily, as I've stated, many of my zones are pretty much the same as my whitetail, so I kind of have a mental note of how I'm going to go through this, but then again, sometimes the respawns don't work out quite how I want them to. Some of my zones, I've noticed for moose anyways, aren't anywhere near as good as whitetail. Like a lot of my zones, as you can see here, are female only, and I really need to hammer out where my males are. I haven't quite figured that one out yet. I've probably gotten around 200 kills so far, which isn't much. To be honest though, I'm hoping I'm one of those lucky ones that, 250 is my Great One mark, but we'll see. And again, just to reiterate, this video isn't going to be anything special. This is just how I would normally typically grind, especially if I'm streaming on Twitch. This is how I would do this. Now, I don't really have a method to the madness as to which zones I go to. Obviously, I don't want to go to any of my zones that have a lot of hunting pressure. I want to erase that hunting pressure so I'm not taking out any sort of need zones. But again, there's no real rhyme or reason, just kind of where I've been to, where I haven't. Sometimes I may forget about a spot and leave it for the next run through. Now I am experimenting with stacking. It's not the same as herd management. I personally don't like herd management. It's a lot of work for seemingly low results. I don't think it has any effect on Great Ones. It has been anecdotally shown to produce more diamonds, but I would much rather have the excitement of finding well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here is our first rare of the Moose Great One grind, and it is a piebald. And here I was just saying this video is not going to be too interesting. So he's just shy of 300 meters. I think I'm pretty confident in that shot. So let's go ahead and hopefully this cow kind of move out of the way. Oh. Well, come on down, little feller. I'm going to go ahead and check the map here for exact range. It's at 270. We'll go ahead and re-0 to 150 and aim just a little high. Oop. Oh, that's, come on. There we go. That was the heart shot. And for efficiency, as you can see here, I've got a tent set up so I can just fast travel right over. Now you can only have 8 tents on a map though, so you got to really pick and choose on which spots that you want. Obviously I'm over 300 meters, that's a long walk. Some of them though, you just got to suck it up and deal with it. But here we go, the first rare of the grind. Pretty happy about that. Now I have noticed sometimes animals take a long time to get to their zones, and I don't know if that's just a Reventuli Coast thing or if that's on the other maps. Let me know in the comments below if it's the same for you. Typically I won't set my times for right whenever their zones start. I actually set it for a little bit after. That way it gives them a chance to get to their zones. As you can see here, we spawned in. We've got moose already in the area. However, I do know that I've got more moose back here and more moose that drink over here. They're just simply not here yet. The game's not broken, just gotta wait for them to get here. Now I could just sit here and actually wait for them to walk, but for efficiency's sake, we're gonna go ahead and take some moose here and then move on to our next ones, and then we can actually make another rotation back to this spot to harvest the other moose. So let's get up here. Again, nothing special with this guy, but we need to take him out. Unfortunately, this is one of those spots that I don't have a tent set up, so I'm going to have to walk all the way around the lake, but that is part of it. Okay, now we're wrapping back to where we started the grind at. I haven't changed time or anything yet. We're still in that first run through. Let's see if these other moose have finally moved into their zones. It's almost the end of moose drinking time, so they should be here in theory. If not, I may actually have to reset time for these guys to show up. But it does appear that they are here. Nothing too interesting hanging out. What are you screaming at? Well, would you look at that? They have a space program, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, there is no takeoff to the moon today. That was weird. Haven't seen that before. And we've got another one, ladies and gentlemen. They are attempting liftoff. Can they make it? Not today. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? That is so strange. I've never seen that before. The moose have evolved to flight. You know what they say about flying moose? I don't know, I've not seen one, but now you have. And for those of you that have watched my previous video, the polymer tip versus soft points, know I've been experimenting a lot lately, testing out the various ammunition, because for the efficiency's sake of the grind, it's kind of annoying having to chase down a moose that you got a vital organ hit, you know, for 200 meters. It really hampers the time. When you could be shooting moose, you're tracking moose, and I still am on the fence on which is better, polymer tip versus the soft points. When it comes to these bigger calibers like the 300 and the 338, it's hard for me to find a difference, to be honest. Maybe there is some. Sometimes the polymer tips are better, sometimes the soft points are better. I think ultimately it comes down to price and what you can afford when it comes to ammunition. Luckily, I've been playing the game a long time. I've got plenty of money, so that is not a factor in my decision. That being said, though, for those of you that don't have the 300 or 338 and are just rocking the 7mm, watch that video to see those results. They were pretty surprising, but as a spoiler alert, soft points seem to do much better. Especially if you just have the 270. The 270 is capable of taking down moose if you're just hunting on Leighton Lakes or something. Soft points may be a point of consideration for you. This spot has been hit or miss for me. I don't know if we're going to have anything hanging out up here. We might. There's a couple. But are any of them male? Doesn't appear to be. Sometimes I have them down here, sometimes I don't. Again, this comes... Oh! We do have a level 3. I don't see any males over here, so we're going to go ahead and take this guy out. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. That was a little low. I may have actually missed him. Luckily, oh, that was a single long. He's doing a scuba diving trick there. Look, he came out of the water. That's actually a really frustrating part about grinding on Rev Antilles. There's so much, the waterways are so big, especially when you heart shot the moose. They like to run forward a little bit, and then they end up in the lake, and you got to wait forever for them to float across. Not sure of too many other maps that have that problem. With Medved, you've got frozen lakes. Leighton, they're kind of smaller rivers. The same with New England. Those rivers or lakes are pretty small, so you don't really have to worry about that. But it's a lot easier to see them, I feel like, on Rev Antilles Coast. That's why I'm sticking to it. And I want to be different, because obviously Medved's probably the best moose map in the game, but where's the fun in that? And I think the way we're going to end this video is we are going to go to our brand new trophy lodge with our first trophy of the grind. We'll go ahead and place him in there. Piebald moose. Not the biggest I have, but he's the first of hopefully many trophies to come. And soon enough, we'll have the Great One join him. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Hope everybody has an awesome time, and I'll see you guys in the next one.